Okay, today we're going to talk about English to math because we're going to be dealing with words that are used in math class and how we convert them into mathematical symbols. So here's the first situation. We always want to talk about expressions and equations and the difference between them. Well, an expression is something that is like 2x plus 1. It's combined in different terms, and that is an expression. And maybe it's like plus 3 more. Oftentimes commands with expression are simplify. And if I would simplify that, that would be 2x plus 4. So that's the expression. Equations, on the other hand, have this magic symbol of an equal sign. And that makes an equation. And so when I say that this side equals to, let's say, that side, this is an equation. And typically commands for equations are solve or create an equation. An equation must have an equal side that's saying that this equals 7. It's also, I could have an equation that's like 3x squared minus x equals to 7x plus 4. Now here's an expression, and here's another expression. The two expressions are equal to each other, and so therefore it is an equation consisting of two expressions. Here's an expression, it's a pretty simple expression, and here's another expression. Two expressions that are equal make an equation. Alright, so make sure that we always distinguish between the two things what we're dealing with. Another quick one. This one's just because we did our pre-quiz to understand what terms were. Even numbers were sometimes mistaken. We have two different kinds of numbers. We have even numbers and odd numbers. The even numbers, which I'll do in blue here, even numbers are 0, 2, 4, 6, 8, and so on. Whereas the odd numbers are 1, 3, 5, 7, and so on. Diagonal. Well, that is a word that is specifically for shapes that we have. And so if I choose, let's say, a square or a rectangle, the diagonal is this line here. That's the diagonal. If it's a rectangle, so if I have my rectangle, then I could have the diagonal here or the diagonal here. It goes from vertex to vertex. But diagonals don't just have to be in rectangles, they can also be in things. This is a pentagon, 5 shapes, and I could be, here's a diagonal, and a diagonal, and a diagonal, and a diagonal, and a diagonal. So it connects any two vertices that are not side by side. These are the most common diagonals that we deal with. A is 3 times bigger than B. This is the biggest problem that all students have. A is 3 times bigger than B. And for me to do this, I always think about this. I start off with A and I start off with B. I know that if I say they're equal, that is incorrect at this point. So I have to decide 3 times implies multiply by 3. Is it A going to multiply by 3 or B multiplied by 3? In order to do it, I take out this word and it says A is bigger than B. So that means this one here is the biggest. So if it's biggest and I want them to be equal, then what do I have to do to B? I have to multiply B times 3. Now they are equal because A is 3 times bigger than B. A is bigger. Now B times 3 is equal to A. Alright, so here's another scenario. So I could also say, if I just change this, I could say 18 is 3 times bigger than 6. This you all agree with. 18 is 3 times bigger than 6. Well, 18 and 6 are not equal. I have to multiply the 3 times the 6 to make them equal. So think about making an equation where they're equal, and you're going to decide which one is bigger and multiply the other side by it. A is B more than C. Again, same kind of idea. A does not equal C. I have to think about which one is bigger. Well, if I take out that A is more than C, well, that means, again, this one is bigger. How much bigger? Well, more means plus B. I have to add B onto C. A is now equal to C plus B, and this is an equation. And again, I'm using an idea of trying to decide which one is larger, and then what do I have to do to the other side to make them equal. Similarly, I could say 10 is 3 more than 7. Well, 10 is not equal to 7. What do I have to do? I have to make it 3 more, and now they're equal because 10 is bigger. Okay. How to write the equation of an area of a rectangle? Well, area equals, that means it's going to be an equation. Well, if here is my rectangle, if this is my base and this is my height, area of the rectangle is base times height. But if you want to write an equation, it has to have an equal sign. Area equals base times height. The sum of a number and 4 is 10. Well, sum is plus. We also have difference is minus. The product is multiplication. And the quotient is division answers. Okay, just keep those words kind of for future reference. But we're going to deal the sum of a number and 4 is 10. Well, the sum of a number. Well, I don't know what the number is. This is the mystery number. So I'm going to call that number x. And it says the sum of my number and 4. So the sum of x and 4 is 10. Is 10. So the sum of a number and 4 is 10. This one here, the sum, so again, adding of a and a number is b. Well, let's call my number x. The sum of a and x. A and x. The sum of a and x is, that's a keyword, often means equals, is b. And then I have an equation here. All right, so there are lots of these things you have to make sense of what it's saying, and just be careful with your terminology. You're often looking for equations. You need an equal sign. If you're told a number, well, make it a variable and then treat it like a number, a plus a number. And then the biggest thing to be careful of is this one here. This is when you think carefully. You are going to have a. Well, that's a false statement, and I must take it and multiply 3 times b because a is bigger. I hope that helps. Good luck.